Welcome to the donhat crew. Today we're going to be looking at a treasure cup that happened in France. There was a total of 438 people. I have all the deck lists of the top 16 players, so we're going to take a look at that. First of all, let's see the statistics that we got. There was, like I said, 438 people. The most popular leader in the top 16 was Sakazuki. There was a total of 9 Sakazukis in the top 16. There was 3 Katakuris, 1 Whitebeard, 1 Red Purple Law, 1 Red Purple Luffy, and 1 Zoro that topped the top 16. The results were that Mr. Pierre won the tournament with black and blue Sakazuki. The second place was also Sakazuki. Third place was Whitebeard. Fourth place, fifth and sixth was Sakazuki. Seventh place was Katakuri. 8th and 9th place Sakazuki. Red Purple Law took the 10th place, Katakuri took the 11th, another Sakazuki in the 12th place, another Katakuri in the 13th place, another Sakazuki in number 14, number 15 is Red Purple Luffy, and Zoro got the 16th place. It's kind of weird that there are no Enels and there are no Purple Luffys in the top 16. Let's take a look at the deck list of the winner. That would be Pierre. As we can see, it's a standard Sakazuki deck. Let's take a look at it as an image. It has the same build that everybody else is running. Only difference I see is that there's 4 Borsalinos instead of the usual 2 or 3. There's more Hinas, 4 Hinas instead of the 3 Hinas. Ice Age is at 3. Everything else is pretty much the same as always. More Sabos, less Kuzans, but everything else is pretty much the same. For the second place, the deck list looks quite similar, like I said, only difference that there is a Kaido, 10 cost Kaido, and less Borsalinos, less Sabos, less blocker Borsalinos. He's also playing Hinas to draw more cards. That's another difference that we can see from the first place and the second place. If we look at the other builds of Sakazuki, there are a few things that switch up, like Virgo as a 2k counter, as for example Mihawks, or Bartholomeus as a 2k counter, and most of them are pretty much doing the same thing with the Sakaluchi, as they call them in the Japan meta, but most of them are pretty much the same, only a few cards are different. I'm gonna show you all of the Sakazuki deck lists just for you to see that they're basically the same.
Hey, it's me, Alex. I'm editing the video and I noticed that every time I show an image, the right side is not visible in regards to how many cards there are. So I'm just giving you a tip. If you want to see the exact deck list, as in copy paste it, just stop the video at this moment and you can see the whole deck and how much it costs.
Only a few cards are different, which might do a lot, like this guy is running an ulti, and he finished in the 9th place. Like if you look at other decks, like I said, most of them have either more Kaidos, Borsalinos. Like the ratios are just a bit different, and some people just run some text like Kobe, because you can get it back with the Rebecca and pop a card instead of the Hina usual combo that you do. And basically it's a Sakaluchi build like every other Sakaluchi build that everybody's running. So these are all the Sakaluchis that we got throughout the tournament, all 9 deck lists. But as we saw, the third place was for Whitebeard. The Whitebeard deck looks like this. The only new card is the Nico Robin, which is quite nice to pop those Rebeccas, the Rebecca blockers. He's running 1 Zoro just to have more rush. But everything else is like the 4 new gates, the Straw Beard engine is here with the Nami, with the 4 rush Luffys, with the new Radical Beam that used to be limited, now there's 4 of them. Everything else is pretty much standard. The only thing I can see is that he runs only 2 Otamas, when we usually used to run 4. The Zoro at 1 is also interesting. Marco simply is the new blocker. We don't run any more 2 cost blockers, as I can see, and everything else is pretty much standard for the Whitebeard deck. I guess the Strawbeard is the way to go now with 4 new gates. Congratulations to Remy Tellier for again at 3rd place with Whitebeard. Next we're gonna be looking at Katakuris. Like I said, there's only 3 Katakuris in the top, there's no one else. So if we take a look at what's new with the Katakuri decks, they're running the 200 million volt event. which is amazing because against Sakazuki it can rest their blockers and give you more attack to your pudding, like let's say, and the pudding can swing for 5, or make your Katakuri stronger and swing for at least 8 without any Dawn investment, only for 2 Dawn. The Gedatsu is also a new card that they got, which means against a mirror match it's very good. Against decks that have 4 life or less it's not as good, because then you don't swing into them, so you would be able to utilize your Gedatsu. I did notice that Katakuri stopped playing Brulees and they prefer the Sanji instead, so that's another difference I've noticed with the Katakuri builds that top. As we can see, the previous build is the 13th place, this build is a 7th place, and it's pretty much the same. The only difference is that there are crackers, a few Brulees, and less Gedatsus. And everything else is pretty much the same, and this guy finished at the 11th place. As we can see, he runs 4 of almost all of their cards are 4 of, and he's running 12 2k counters, which is also quite unusual. Basically, this guy went with 4 of everything except for the cracker and the Gedatsu, which is also something you could try out. The next interesting thing we can look at is the red purple law. This is the only red purple law in the top. He finished at the 10th place. His name is Remy, and the deck list looks like this. And the 4 Gordon, only 2 Otamas, which is interesting. 4 Beppos, 4 new law that we got in the OPO5. Zoros, and promo law that lowers the attack. Pretty much looking the same as it should in the OPO5 lists of Japan's lists. I do see he runs 4 searchers. The only downside I can see to this deck is that the Doflamingo right now has a stage card for 5 cost that basically does not allow to restand any character that's a 5 or less, meaning the whole deck can be counter out just by that one card. But since he's in the 10th place, I guess he did not meet any of those players, and nobody played green purple Doffy, so I guess he dodged the bullet on that. But congratulations to this player as well. And the red purple Luffy, the one-off 15th place David, was running a deck list like this. We're using the new support of the Monkey D. Luffy, the 10 cost, the Zoro Juro from the OPO5, and the Nico Robin once again to pop those Rebecca's against Sakazuki, since as you saw it was the most popular deck, especially in the top 16 there was 9 Sakazukis. So if we look at the deck, it's pretty much a straw hat build. Be able to search your Zoros, your Luffys, your Double Jambes and Radical Beams. I'm not sure why he decided to go with the Jozu instead of, let's say, Sanji's, but he's the one that's topping. I believe there was a reason for that. 4 9 gates, 3 Monkey D Luffys, a bunch of Double Jambes, no rush Luffys. Basically ramp up to the late game and play your big bodies and win like that. And the last deck we're gonna be looking at is Zoro. Leo got the 16th place with Zoro. He's running 4 Tamas, 4 Namis, 4 Makinos, 4 Maguras, okay, 4 Buggies and 4 Sanjis. So basically this is the Japanese version that I saw previously, and it just wants to swarm low bodies and just rush you down. But of course against Sakazuki I don't know how this works, because it will just pop your Sanjis. It will just pop your buggies, it will pop most of your cards like the dance and everything else. But since the players in the top 16, I guess there is a way to play this deck and pilot it. So 4 guard points, 4 Radical Beams is strong, Diable Jambe is good, Monkey D. Luffy is good to go around those counters. Gordon helps you to pop with the Marco and with the Nick Robin, same with Otama. So congratulations to this player as well for getting the top 16. And if we look at all the decks from the top 16, what we can notice is that there were no purple Luffys, there were no Enels that topped the top 16. But if we look at the whole picture and we see all the decks that were playing, basically we did see a few Enels. Enel was in the 19th place with a record of 6-2. There was another Enel with a 6-2. There were purple Luffys with a record of 6-2, and this is a pure purple Luffy deck that he was running, like 4 Kaidos, 3 Polis, no Magellans, which is weird, but I've seen a lot of people run this page 1, not the vanilla one, but this one, as a substitute for the vanilla one to play with ulti. But there were decks like that, there were like Enels and purple Luffys, but they just did not top, and unfortunately they were not able to get into the top 16. But for this tournament Sakazuki was dominating full on, so let me know what you think. What deck will you play?